Great.
All right. Welcome to the Ware School Committee for Wednesday, September 24th, 2025, regular business meeting and an executive session. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of warrants and payroll for Wednesday, September 24th, 2025. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
Approval of minutes for Wednesday, September 10th, 2025, regular business meeting. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes for Wednesday, September 10th, 2025 regular business meeting.
Second? I'll second.
I thought you were.
I know, sorry. All in favor? Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
Budget update.
Good evening. You have in your packets the update for FY26 as of the 24th, today. We're starting the ball rolling on our fiscal year 26. You'll see, even though there shows a significant balance available in the report, the year's just started, so we'll be seeing that going down as just a normal course of business. We have two things, the chart at the front on the memo regarding our projected use of circuit breaker and our projected receipts for circuit breaker and school choice. Actually, DESI just released, I have up-to-date information, DESI released their preliminary circuit breaker number. When we built our budget for 26, we were using 70% of our current FY25 reimbursement amount. We are getting just over $1.2 million in circuit breaker this year. So that's all things going according to plan. That will help because we have had some unanticipated tuitions that have been we've been fiscally responsible for. Dollar amounts yet to be determined, so this could be the very classic money in, money out, but at least the money's in. So I can answer any questions you have regarding the report. I also added, because Member Whittam asked about possibly doing a visual graph of the budget per se. So this was my first attempt at trying to do a visual for the budget. What I did was took the, in summary total, the cost centers, the major areas in the budget report to try and give a visual depiction of the available budget, encumbered, expended, in the original budget as approved. I'm open to trying other, visual depictions. This was, like I said, my first attempt to see if what people think of it. I thought, as far as, because the way that we always operate is we want to be able to see a projection, as I've said, we should be able to run a report from July 1 to June 30th, and that way there you can see, in a sense, quote unquote, how much money you truly have projected at the end of the year. So this again was me trying to show that by cost center of the available budget based on the original budget expended and encumbered. That being said, I can answer any questions that you might have and or thoughts or suggestions on my chart or graph, whatever it is.
It's a visually pleasing chart, Andy. Thank you so much.
No, I really.
It's very easy to read, yeah.
I really like it. It's really good information. In addition to this, like for the community, if people wanted to know, like in a pie chart, like what do we spend on supplies? What do we spend on maintenance of the buildings? What do like if somebody asked, like what percentage of our budget goes toward paying for tuition for out of school placements, those kinds of things. This is great. I really like this, but also something that's really easy for people that maybe aren't so familiar with budgets to just see kind of where our money's going as far as the different categories of spending, I suppose.
So if you were, I'm just double checking to make sure, on the actual budget document itself, which is on the district's website, there is a summary page that shows that breakdown of by cost center, but if we have it broken down into salaries, instructional expenses, other expenses, maintenance and operations, in addition to, there's a section devoted to special education and a special education tuition out of district placement as well. So that lives on the district's website. I think under the news section, I can find it and
Great.
double check. So it is there.
Okay.
It's not in a pie chart. It's number driven, so I can, if it's helpful, I have no problem taking that and putting it in a pie chart, and we can upload it to the website so it can live there along with the actual number driven chart as well, if that's.
I mean, I would appreciate that. That would be great. Anything we can do to make the information more accessible to more people is
Sure.
awesome.
My only fear would be with a pie chart is that we put a lot of things in it and it becomes very, very, very small pieces or slithers.
Well,
Which
I understand. If you look at what I'm referring to, the summary of our document, there's going to have to be some understanding that when it says instructional expenses, that's solely classroom-based expenses. That's,
Right.
So it's supplies, materials, textbooks. Other expenses are things that would be, for lack of a better phrase, not instructional.
Like furniture.
Health, no, actually, furniture would be, that's a different thing, because
okay.
depending on the cost of the furniture, it could be considered instructional materials. But other would be things like health supplies, because that is not considered an instructional expense. That's a different DESI function code. But it also wouldn't be maintenance, because maintenance is another different function code. So we have it sorted out by those very broad categories. So there's the understanding that when it says instructional, you really focus on what's inside the classroom that goes directly towards teaching and learning in the classroom. Could also be district-wide things, because we do have instructional technology that is district-wide that Mike Brown oversees, that are in his department that would fall under that category. But I understand your concern, Brian, but I think, I'm going to say, let me give this a try and see if, I don't think, I think it would provide the information that we're looking for visually without necessarily getting too granular.
Yeah. Thank you.
page 14, that's the one with the graph. SPED, 442,482 in the negative.
That, again, if you remember, it's because this is only the local. So we also have the SPED 240 grant and the SPED circuit breaker grant that will go to offsetting that. So as our normal practice is, we charge everything to the local first, and then come end of the year, do one journal entry to reclass the expenses out.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, it's great.
We are good. Time for the superintendent report.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. We are in the midst of really rocking and rolling with lots of different pieces moving forward, especially around our strategic plan. We're trying to publish the professional development plan for our teachers in a modality that everybody can see how we're connecting our work to our strategic plan. So that work is ongoing. We are having our open houses this week, and they've been, of the two that we've held so far, they've been very well attended, which is great. I love seeing all the parents and the kids showing them what's going on in their classrooms. So it's really energetic to see the kids with their parents and the teachers as well. We welcome Ivy Peretz, our new assistant principal here at the junior senior high school, and she'll be primarily working with grades 7 and 8, but she's throughout the entire building, and so she's been instrumental even in the short time she's been here, helping Mrs. Sears and myself manage the building and lead the teachers. Lockdowns are being planned. We've met with Officer Bonaire and last Friday with all the new staff. I was part of that for the new administrators, and Officer Bonaire and a team of state police and local police will be coordinating the actual lockdowns for us. So. We met with town representatives and just, I think, finalized what probably was a decision made, but lots of moving pieces to it, to just finalize that we will, our varsity baseball team will be playing most likely at St. Joe's. I think we still have to work out a contract with them, but our athletic director has that task to bring that forward, and it's primarily because of some work that needs to be done with at the park, mostly reseeding. That they wanted to do and give the field a rest. Every field, if you ever talk to a greens person, they will tell you that you should have a schedule of rotation of field rest. And so I think the Park and Recreation team is doing that for their park, as we should do it as well for our own going forward as well. So work that we need to do to eventually, I think with the hopes of bringing the team back here, would have to go into our capital plan so that we could fix the drainage. We definitely have to fix the drainage for the girls' softball field, because they do play there, and I guess there have been some games that have been moved around because of poor drainage. But there's other pieces that I think people would like to have done so that the fields can be proper, with dugouts and bleachers of some kind, and very possibly a working scoreboard. So those are things that we'll talk about with in building our capital plan and presenting to you probably during the budget process, so that it can be part of the town meeting, so they know it's coming. And I think we build our capital plan with the town, so it's all one document. So we are still working on hiring for 3 main positions that are eluding us: our computer science teacher here at the high school, middle school, and junior high, and a media specialist for this location. We are going to do some borrowing. Right now, the high school, middle school, junior high, I got to get used to calling it a junior high. They share staff with the middle school. The one position we haven't been sharing, but we can, is the media specialist. So we're going to start bringing her over here, at least temporarily, until we find a full-time person. And we've just started to do another deep dive in the, I don't know if you're familiar with School Spring, but there is a methodology to be able to go in there and actually identify candidates and reach them and ask them to apply to us. So we are doing that for those positions as well. The special education teacher position, we started the year with a person. The person decided to leave and is staying with us, thankfully, until we find somebody, which is nice. We think we have found somebody. We have to work through some licensure components, but everybody's working collaboratively to get that done, and we should have it done in short order. We have Picture Day next week, which I'm very excited about, because then I can get my badge and people will actually know who I am when I'm walking around the buildings. I think that's really important. We did get notice that there's a middle school vocational pathway policy that has to be written by November 1st. That work, thank you very much for a draft of that. I'm also working with some other superintendents on looking at different drafts to pull that together, as well as Pathfinder. Superintendent has reached out actually today to help us with that work. So we'll be pulling that together in combination, and I'll bring forward to to the team. But we have in your packet the draft that you pulled together, which was very helpful.
I have a quick question on that.
Sure.
So the information that I found online said that the transportation for the school visits is incurred by the hosting school. That would be Pathfinder.
That's what I understand it to be,
Okay.
yes. Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I was reading that right.
Yeah. And then the cell phone policy, I know we did include in your packets tonight, I keep pointing to it, but I shared mine, that the data from the surveys are in your packet to inform some work that we need to do there. My suggestion is that we wait a bit on that and see what the guidance is going to be from the legislature. They do have a bill before the legislature. I would hate to create something that is more stringent than what the law becomes and then have to relax it, or even the other way, because that will mean change in practice, and it's kind of hard sometimes to get kids and teachers to do that together. I know it's an issue. I know our teachers would love to see them curtailed tremendously. It's something that does need to be done, and that's what I've got for your report tonight.
I wanted to add to, because I read your report before we came, and I knew that you were going to bring up the cell phone policy, and I agree. So the legislature, the Senate has passed the cell phone ban, and now it's before the House. And on one hand, it passed with like 90% yays and 2 nays. So the chance of it not passing the House is very slim. It's just a matter of when they're going to take it up.
Right.
So I think I'm inclined to agree to hold off on a cell phone policy, an official cell phone policy change, as long as it's understood that cell phones are still not invited into our schools. So as long as the messaging and the enforcement is out there saying like, hey, you can't just sit in class and sit on your cell phone.
Right.
I think I'm fine with holding off on a cell phone policy, because I think you're exactly right. To roll out a policy that we've written, and then 6 months to 8 months later, the House passes it, it becomes law, and then we've got to inform everybody that it's changing again. Right. So I'm inclined to agree to hold off on the cell phone policy if everybody else has a thought on that.
Works for me. Any questions? All right, new business. Use of facility waiver request. First one is from the town, the special town meeting for 11/17/2025.
I'll make the motion to waive the fees for the special town meeting request on 11/17/2025.
I'll second. All in favor? Any questions? Any comments? All in favor? Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
The next one is from the police department for the sergeant's assessment. Use of Ware Middle School for 12/6/2025. Any questions? Any comments?
What is the sergeant's assessment?
It's in preparation for the sergeant's exam.
Oh, cool.
But yes.
So I'll make the motion to waive the fees on 12/6/2025 for the Ware Police Department and their sergeant's exam assessment.
I'll second. All in favor? Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
The third is for Ware Youth Soccer Fall Sports Banquet. A waiver for use of facilities, mostly the cafeteria. I believe it's cafeteria in the kitchen. For 11/8/2025. Any questions or comments?
Can we waive the fees for this one too?
Yes.
So I'll make the motion to waive the fees for the Ware Youth Soccer banquet on 11/8/2025.
Second? I'll second. All in favor? Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
Middle school CTE pathway policy. Now, I know we have this in our packet. Is this like
So
an
this-
example? This is
Yeah,
not
this
the
is-
final
This
final.
this is my draft.
Right.
Right.
So based on the information that I found online, basically it is a requirement that our 7th and 8th graders visit a vocational high school, i.e. Pathfinder. So that's the only requirement that like has to happen. So basically the first paragraph says that this policy ensures that all Ware Public School students understand the many options available to them, and this policy requires 7th and 8th graders to visit Pathfinder Technical High School between the dates of September 15th and November 10th. The only reason I put the dates in there is because Mr. Wood indicated that some sort of window would be excellent guidance for this sort of thing, and it's before presumably bad weather in the winter, and then it's not in the spring when we're preparing for MCAS. So I figured that this was the best window. And then the second paragraph suggests, I'm suggesting here, that in addition to these visits, there be no less than 2 lessons, at least 2 lessons, no less than 30 minutes each, where students engage in interactive activities and discussions about education requirements, available programs, and all the different things that come with choosing a technical education versus a traditional one. And then on the DESE website, there is a thing called MyCap, which stands for My Career and Academic Plan. And there's a section for students, there's a section for parents, there's a section for teachers. And my suggestion in the final paragraph is that we, as a school, offer a training once per school year for 7th and 8th graders and their families to learn about this continuum of learning focused on the individual students' interests, talents, and skills. That's a quote from the thing. And basically, it just starts a conversation between teachers and students, teachers and parents, parents and students, about what is your plan? Like, when you see yourself graduating high school, what do you see happening? And if those conversations never happen, then there might never be a plan. So it's just kind of a way to launch that for the 7th and 8th graders. So again, the only requirement is visiting Pathfinder. The rest of it is just my suggestions. So I am open to feedback on that.
Do we know what Pathfinder does? In other words, do they do the 2 lessons no less than 30 minutes? Or do they have a set program that they do that when they bring in people from Ware and whatever towns are signed up to Pathfinder, is it a structured, that's their structure and not
Right.
something, if I look at this right, that we're requesting?
Right. So those are great questions that I have for Eric Duda. He's the superintendent over there, and so he will be, I think, joining us when the 4 area superintendents are meeting on the topic, so we'll talk about it. The only thing that I noticed today in reading for tonight's meeting is that I believe it's the regulation that they passed this in, it's 6, 7, and 8.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't know if that's going to be something that, we can adjust because we're 7 through 12. And, I'm used to mostly only grade 8 students are involved. So this expansion to 6, 7, and 8 feels different. But it is tied into MyCap, which is a push by DESE to have as part of graduation planning. So.
Right. And you have to be careful when you're reading on the DESE website because they just keep saying the words middle school over and over
That's
and over
right.
again. And for our district, middle school means something very different. So you just have to remember when you're looking at this that it's apparently 7th, 8th, and 6th students that they're talking about.
So I'll get
Question.
advice on that.
So in your report, you were saying to look at the middle school vocational pathway policy as a first reading. Is that this?
That's the first one, yeah.
Basically, this was just my stab at getting something on paper, so that when Mr. Wood meets with other superintendents, if everybody's just sitting around saying, well, what do we do? Maybe this is like, I don't know, a conversation starter. This might end up being chucked in the bin. I don't know. It's just my thoughts. As an educator, as a parent, and as someone that, my dad was a mechanic, and I feel like historically, in recent history, the trades have been played down as viable options for careers, and I feel like the pendulum is swinging the other way now that we have, plumbers and electricians and carpenters that are all retiring and there's no one to take their spots. I think society at large has realized that the trades are a very valuable and viable and personally fulfilling career, and so I think the pendulum has swung to where now, rather than looking at 6th, 7th, and 8th graders and saying, if you don't go to college, you're a failure, now they're saying, there are other ways to live your life. Because that's the message that a lot of people got my generation and around my generation is, college is the only choice, and if you don't do that, then you're a loser. So I am very pleased to see that this is now a focus for DESE.
And I would just add that there's other pieces that I think we can do in WARE, which I think we've already started in terms of CTE programs. We can look at robotics, we can look at engineering, we can look at programs like the CNA course that we have here, and really start to invest in them resource-wise, so that our kids can get a taste of CTE and maybe not go to Pathfinder, but get a passion for a particular area. I can speak personally that my son, in the high school that he attended, they had a welding option for them, and he took it as an elective, and it changed his career path, and he went on to a tech school and is doing very well as a welder. And it just was something that I happen to have been superintendent in that school district, so I really was very much in favor of a comprehensive high school that had options for all students, whether they were able to go to in this case Pathfinder, or a college was an option for them if they wanted to. So I totally agree with you. I think that, the pendulum has moved back where it should be. I think more where kids just explore all the options.
Agreed.
So our next, the next thing we would do is, we're waiting for information, say from Pathfinder and others, as to how to formulate this, because they may be doing a different way to do presentations.
Plus, Pathfinder has to be prepared to receive all of these students from all their different member districts.
That's true.
So
Right, and it has to be scheduled, right? Like it's a logistical thing.
I believe
it's
they
not,
do that, and with different, and so I think we need to talk to Pathfinder.
Yeah, so I guess our next step should just be waiting to see what Superintendent Wood comes up with and collaborates with Superintendent Duda and go from there,
Just as in the past.
You got to be at the mic, because no one hears you.
Sorry. Lynn Grudy, we're resident. In the past, what has happened is Pathfinder offers a day where they open it up to all of the area schools. So you have Quabog, you have Belchertown, you have Palmer, you have Ware, and everyone, Pathfinder sends the bus out to us. We find out who's interested in going, and then the kids load on the bus with guidance, and then I had the opportunity to go one year, and you go in there, and the kids have their 5 things that they're interested in, whatever they are interested in for their trades, and then when they go there, as soon as they get off the bus, Pathfinder has kids there that are finding those kids, and they're giving them their schedule. And so then they have an opportunity to go visit all of those shops that they are interested in. I think they get, I'm not sure if they get 3 out of the 5, but they get to visit, there's a time frame, and they get to go in, so they get to go into the automotive shop and actually pull tires off of cars and test it out. And then at the end of it, they end up with a lunch that the culinary department has then created for them. They have raffles, and they have things that happen, and then the bus comes back here, and typically that happens right before Thanksgiving. That's usually that week before Thanksgiving that has happened in the past.
Great.
But just...
And, sorry,
Great
you said
background.
only the kids that are interested in going?
It was the kids that were interested because they just sent one bus. So like at one point there were like 55 of us squished on to this one bus. So it is, in the past, it's only been the kids that were interested. But I don't, that could be different. I'm not really sure how that was
I mean,
determined.
the literature I read said it's required.
Yeah.
So I only
okay.
can speak to what has happened
No,
in the
sorry.
past, but then also over the past, I don't believe that trip has happened in the past 2 years. I don't
Okay.
believe the previous superintendent wanted that to happen.
Well, I mean, it can be seen as like an advertisement for Pathfinder,
Right.
right? Like, don't go to Ware, come to Pathfinder.
Right.
To Mr. Wood's point, like, if we offered some CTE courses, like, that would be attractive to students within our district and beyond. So I think that's an excellent point.
Yeah, I just was making you aware of what actually, what they already had available.
So it's
what
everyone
has-
on one day? It's not
It's
like we
everyone on
go
one day.
one day and Munson goes
No,
another day?
it's
Okay.
everyone on one day.
That's good
And
to know.
their kids have a half day that day. So there is no one in the school, it's just all of these other kids that are in
Cool.
there.
Thank you. So, I'd say we will wait for further information.
Yeah.
Next is our booster president, Mr. Don Schwartz, who would like to do a presentation for us.
Good evening. My name is Don Schwartz. I'm well out of my element right now. I brought the high-tech board here to help me along here. Over the past several school committee meetings, questions about the booster clubs have been raised, and I'm just here to update you who we are, what we're doing, and if you have any questions. I have probably about 10 minutes of talking to do and some information I'd like to pass on, and then after that I'll answer some questions. Before I get started, I'd like to thank all the volunteers that have helped over the years. This has just been, without them, we would not be possible to do what we do. A little history. Before 2004, there was a booster club at the school. It was disbanded before I got in here, and from what I was told, it was more of an individual-based booster club, and not for all the teams. I was also told that the school tried to run the concession stands, and they really didn't find that it was worth it when you had to pay people to run the concession stands. In 2004, the current booster club, which exists now, was formed. The original members were Susan Barbius, Ryan Balicki, Sean Gershbach, Janet and Steve Deffinger, Cindy and Roy St. George, Billy and Maureen Vadnais, Marcia Vadnais, and the last being Charlene Valley, which is and after 20 years, Charlene still works in the school, and I think that's pretty impressive. During that first crew that got going in 2004, they came up with a mission statement. This is their mission statement. That's for the Booster Club. Ware High School Booster Club is an organization consisting of a group of volunteers that support all Ware High athletics. We plan and organize events that involve the community to benefit the students at Ware High School. We believe that encouraging students to participate in athletics, we are enriching their lives. The athletes learn from life lessons and gain a strong sense of pride in their team, their school, and their communities, and themselves. That's our mission statement. Moving on to a couple issues that we had early on. 2010. We ran into a little problem with the school. I was ordering I was ordering trophies and from either Dead Brothers or Nixon's, and then the Booster Club was repaying the school for whatever we bought. So we were actually buying it in the end. Andy Paquette here wrote me a nice little letter saying that we shouldn't be doing that, and we may, if we get audited, we may run into a situation with that. So as of 2010, June of 2010, we opened up an account, an individual account or a Booster Club account at Country Bank, and that's where we've been ever since. We are not a charitable organization, 503 or whatever it is. We looked into that, and just the amount of effort and yearly upkeep, we just didn't think it was worth it. We've revisited it like 3 times. We do accept donations, but the donations that we receive are generally if someone's passed away and they want to use us as a kind of a charitable organization to give it to. Another situation that arose was in 2011. Up until 2011, our primary items that we bought were uniforms for the schools. They are very expensive, so we try to offset the cost there. In 2011, we bought a set of uniforms, which was not collected, and the following year, the athletic department needed to buy new uniforms. It's like we just bought those uniforms, and I don't think it's right to go collect them. But I talked to the superintendent at that point in time, and she says, "Don't worry about uniforms. You don't have to buy any more uniforms." So since 2011, we haven't bought any uniforms. And we left that up to the school. She said she had enough money in the budget to take care of uniforms, so I said, okay, we won't buy uniforms. In 2011, after we didn't have to pay for uniforms, instead of buying uniforms, we decided to reimburse the usage fee of our athletes. At that point in time, they started charging, I don't know exactly when it started. It was $100. Some of the families couldn't pay that, so we said, we'll reimburse you for one of our calendars there. We have two main ways that we raise money. One is through the calendar sales, and the other one is through concessions. The calendars question a couple weeks ago was, do we know about, who knows about selling calendars? But generally speaking, I don't think Mr. Wood would know of the calendar since you just started here, but all the superintendents, all the principals, the school committee members that have kids in the system or have had kids in the system realize what we're doing. The town clerk, I have to get a permit to sell the calendars. The chief of police knows we're doing it. I got to get him to sign off on it. And then on a yearly basis, we have the state. I have to report into the state how much we make, and then I have to pay a 5% tax on the money that we raise. So there's a lot of people that know what we're doing here. As far as the calendar sales here, we're going to go to slide 1. This is my Pictionary. So I keep this because we still argue over that. They didn't say I did it very well. Anyways, so our calendar sales here. Over the past 13 years, we've sold $186,440 of calendars. Okay, which equivalents into 9,342 individual calendars. So that's a lot of calendars. Yeah. And they are currently on sale now. So for those of you who are watching on TV, ask to the number 1 tournament, and also ask your friends for calendars. Out of this money that we raised for calendars over the past 13 years, well, we've given back to winners $39,000, which is 21% of the money that we raised goes back to the winners. The $83,700, that's repayment for the usage fees. So over the past 13 years, we've given away 837 returns on usage fees. So if you sell, and the way that the calendars work is if you sell 5, then that money goes to the Booster Club for things. If you sell 10, 5 additional to get to 10, then you play 1 sport. So a 3-sport athlete, if they sell 20, will save their parents $300 over the course of the year. Okay? And so that would leave us, as far as, that's 45% of the money that we raise is returned to the kids or the parents. And that leaves us $64,140 for the sports boosters, which is 34%. The other way we make money is that we have concession stands. I use the 3-year average. Football, we usually have 6 games. Basketball, we have 21 games. In this span, we had about 351 games that we, in the 13 years that we did, I'm kind of covering here. The 3-year average, as far as collected each year at the concession stand, we get $9,118. I estimated that it was about 35% food costs to get to that money, so our profit is $5,926. And in the 13 years, it may fluctuate a little bit, depends on what's going on, but we raised $77,038. So by combining those two, in the 13 years that I'm looking back, and this is, the Booster Club's been there for 20 years, but the numbers, they go back a little bit too deep, but it's probably trends the same way. But in the past 13 years, we've raised $263,878. We returned to winners $39,000. We returned to the kids and the parents $83,700, and which left the Booster Club to spend on things $141,178.
Wow.
And I have a list of, it's item of 52. I'm going to read them. I wrote them down, so I'm going to read them. Anyway, if you can jot them down if you have any questions. But over the past 13 or so years, this is what we've bought: gym score table, the gym team chairs, gym sound system, veterans field sound system, cheer mats, uniforms, user fees, two baseball pitching machines, 2 softball pitching machines, basketball rebounder, shed at the softball field, football sleds, any of the plaques, banners, and trophies, and the updates we've been taking care of, football equipment and pads, Huddle, which is a review system for the coaches for football and basketball, volleyball trainer, football headsets. We've just purchased our second set after 15 years. Soccer goals. We've repaired before the weight room was redone. A couple of years ago, we had it paid to be repaired because of tears and such twice. Infield mix, volleyball nets, cheer pom-poms, soccer rebound nets, ADS equipment, update of the basketball scoreboard. The Rotary used to take care of the Ware Palmer dinner. We've taken that over. Baseball bats. Senior nights, we donate to senior nights to make sure that that's a memorable night. Fertilizer, seed, catcher's equipment, paint, 2 boom boxes for the cheerleaders, golf practice rounds, cheer headbands and gloves, senior shirts, basketball training tools, repair of the Memorial Field sign, end of season banquets. So we supplement buses at times to upgrade the buses for the kids, soccer training equipment, baseball screens and ball cart, the Palmer Indian, the Ware Palmer Indian heads that are put up on when we play Palmer, 3 grills, wrestling mats, career athlete awards, state taxes, and town taxes, or town fees. So that's a long list that I rambled through, and then I'm sure there's more items. That's kind of what I sat down and thought about. I'd just like to thank the school committee for letting me come in and ramble for a few minutes. And we look forward to working with the school in the future and enhancing the athletic experience for all the athletes at Ware High School. So that's kind of what we've been doing for the past 20 years or so.
Thank you very much.
Open to questions.
Any questions,
No
comments?
questions, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
question.
for your
Thank you
presentation.
immensely.
No, I do have a question. So a lot of this arose because of the discussion over the athletic handbook and whether the boosters should make an appearance in that handbook. It is my opinion that other than mentioning the boosters and perhaps providing your mission statement, that that's about the extent of what you should appear in the athletic handbook. Do you have any thoughts on what, if anything, you would like the boosters to be represented in the athletic handbook
No,
as we finish it up?
It's always the tough questions are always the first ones. But I would say we should have a limited, because we're not directly connected to the school. We're an individual organization because of you allow us, and the administration allows us to function, and then we have volunteers that do it. You know, we do it out of the love of the sports. But as far as the athletic handbook, anything you can do to encourage calendar sales, or at times we have teams that are very good and sometimes that we don't, but I think it should be the responsibility of everyone to enhance it. And without, over the years, I've been here a long time, but a lot of these things that I just went through, a lot of them wouldn't happen, or it would be real slow on getting. I know that at one point in time, I was at a town meeting, and they were minimally funding the schools, and the town seemed like they were pride that they were given as little as possible to it. And I stood up and I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "You don't have the budget, and we're trying to supplement the stuff." I work with the ADs, Mr. Shamgoshin, what do you need? The coaches, what do you need? And we're kind of frugal, if that's a word, with our money, but if you need it, just request it. And some people ask why are we doing like Memorial Field and stuff like that. We use Memorial Field, and we wanted it to be as nice as possible. We want the kids to be as nice as possible. And a lot of the things, when they leave here, I see we do the senior shirts, where some people think it's silly, but I see the kids wearing it in Walmart. And in fact, I recently had Sean Dufresne, who's in the system. He'll probably talk to me about it. He says, "Can you get me my senior shirt I never picked up?" I mean, Sean graduated in like 08. It's like, do you think it's still around, Sean? But maybe I'll go give him a shot. I just thought it was funny. But the kids look back on their high school athletic experience, and I like to think that we make it a little bit better for them. So as far as being an athletic handbook, just a mention there, maybe the mission code, and if people want to volunteer, we're more than happy. I've never denied people from helping out, but.
Just acknowledgement that they exist.
And that we appreciate the relationship and all of that.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Yeah, we're trying to get this finished up, so I appreciate your feedback.
So we're looking at, as far as you deal with the athletic director and coaches, you deal direct. In other words, it's not something that goes through the superintendent and then works its way down.
All the stuff we do is like at the start of the season, like for, basketball with Danny and Gene. It's like, what do you need? And sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it's, last year Gene wanted a chart to chart his team's progress for rebounds and scoring. Danny at one point in time wanted little glasses you put on there. That's fine. Anything to make the kids, better. And it's like, the bigger items that we have, we don't mind spending the money if they're going to be used. We just hope that they're taken care of, properly with it. But normally Mr. Shamgoshin will will contact the coaches, what do you need for the upcoming season, and they put in their request, and then the request comes to me. I send it out to the boosters to use them as a sounding board, get approval for it, see if anyone has any questions, and then once it's approved, I generally order it, and it's shipped right here. Anything that we buy, like we recently bought a cooler up on the football field. It was $2,000. The one we had in there was a Coca-Cola that was probably 25 years old, and it froze about 15 cases of soda last year, so we had to get rid of it, but it's $2,000. But anything we buy belongs to you guys. So if we close up shop and walk away, we're not going to take any of the equipment that we get. Once we donate it or bought, it's yours, and to do what? Hopefully you guys take care of it, and many people will have the use on it.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you for
Mr. Schwartz.
giving me the opportunity, and I'm going to hang around for comments and concerns in case anyone else has any questions, or they can see me after the meeting, or if anyone wants to contact me, I'm in town, lots of people know my number, just give me a call. All right? Thank you very much.
I really like your
Thank you very
PowerPoint
much.
presentation. It's very good.
Old unfinished business, cell phone and dress code policies. Cell phone, we sort of have already touched base on. I don't know if we want to at this point. We did get some data from the survey that was done recently, trying to catch reactions from students. I think that was the main thing. And I don't know if we want to talk about that this time. Or save it for when we would see what the legislature has to say.
Well, I mean, I did notice that we had a strong student contingent answering with 98 students compared to 29 parents or guardians, teachers. And it seems like students are very well aware of the impact that cell phones have on their learning. So, I mean, I'm encouraged by what I see in here, but at the same time, I agree with Mr. Wood's recommendation that we just put ourselves in a holding pattern on this and see if the House actually takes up the vote to avoid doing it and then redoing it.
Any comments? Any questions?
Was this the survey that was sent out to students?
This is the dress code. This is a different one. We're talking about the cell phone.
Apologies.
That's all right.
I thought we had moved on.
I think this was the original one that was resent.
This is the one that was resent after the last meeting.
Right, so that we could capture students because
Yeah.
everybody was back. So that was the reason for that.
Does everybody agree that we should hold off on any official cell phone policy until after the legislature does its thing?
Then that's what we'll do.
Great.
Dress code policies. We received feedback on that.
Is this specifically students? That was my original question. Is this?
So it's 118
Parent.
students.
Gotcha.
33 parents, teachers or employees,
Gotcha.
and 2 volunteers.
Thank you. It's definitely a lot different than the initial set of data that we got.
I mean, it really is, and I've done a lot of reflection on this since going to the MASC training, which is the school committee training thing, and talking with colleagues. I don't know. I went into this thinking that this was super important and that it needed to be addressed. And after some self-reflection, I feel like with all of the situations and conditions in our high school at the moment, I feel like this is maybe not a top priority. I am all for a dress code that promotes a positive learning environment. I am all for students presenting themselves in a more formal way. I'm not talking formal. I'm just talking about like, you know, looking like you've left your house and gone somewhere type of a situation. But at the same time, I am okay with tabling this for right now because we're dealing with much more pressing matters. So,
Well, I believe we came this far.
I
We've solicited the staff,
believe
we've
it's
solicited
important.
the community, we've solicited the students.
Yeah.
We've developed drafts. I think everybody deserves a decision on this. But that's just my opinion.
Any other comments?
I kind of feel the same thing with Mel, I mean, if we need a decision to say that's the decision, then I'm fine with that, if that's what you're thinking about.
I also agree with Mel. I feel like it should be tabled for the present moment until there's a little more time to focus on it.
That being said, the current dress code basically just says you need to wear clothes to school. I mean, that's basically what it says. So I think I would be comfortable at the moment with Superintendent Wood meeting with administration and staff and talking about how to appropriately address any sort of dress code situation that might come up, and just making sure that dress is safe and conducive
offensive.
to learning. Yeah, avoiding offensive logos or language or anything that would target or demean certain groups, or anything hateful, obviously. But what we're 100% trying to avoid is anything policing girls and not boys. And the old days of making girls kneel down and seeing if their skirts touch the ground, that is completely not where we're going with this at all. Like, that is outrageously inappropriate. But, I mean, it happened. Like, I know it happened.
Here?
Happened to my sisters in Utah. I don't know if it happened here, but I know that it's happened.
I think we're a little more progressive on these.
Yeah.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but
Yeah, so
it could have.
that's kind of where I'm headed with this right now. And I mean, if you look at the data, the second question, the clothing and accessories that students wear have an impact on their learning environment. The students overwhelmingly said they disagree.
They also disagreed that shoes shouldn't be safe. So
What did they say?
they disagreed that shoes shouldn't be safe.
Oh,
They don't need to be safe.
students
They
must wear shoes that are safe and appropriate for a learning environment.
strongly disagree.
Strongly disagree. Okay, fair. I mean, what do you do with that?
I thought that's one thing we all agreed on, was the shoes should be safe.
I feel like it was a matter of their perception, because there was
Right.
talk about them losing the opportunity to wear their Uggs to school, or Birkenstock
For sure.
sandals, or something that didn't have something enclosed. So I think that's where they're going with the outlook on that, not necessarily that they think shoes are unsafe. I just feel like it's a matter of perception of how they're viewing what we're trying to tell them to wear.
I completely agree.
I'm just looking through some of it. We can table this if that's what everybody wants to do, until probably a more appropriate time.
I'll make a motion to table the dress code policy.
Second.
All in favor, Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
I, with the apology of really pushing this, and upon self-reflection, I realized that we were kind of running before we could walk situation, so my apologies.
That's fair.
But every once in a while, we circle back to things like dress code or cell phones or something else. Times change, things change, people change. So I don't think it was totally out of to look at it, address it. I mean, we had what, a couple sentences? Is that too vague, or is it fine? Apparently, for now, we'll go with a couple sentences.
Yeah.
It's not that it's never going to change. We can address it at some other point. I only threw banner advertising on there because I know he's here tonight, I believe, Mr. Bateman, and I want to thank him for the work he put into it. I think I said at the last meeting The only thing I want to change is the chairman of the school committee has to sign off on these. That could be tough. That could be tough sometimes to get a hold of me.
Did we figure out the point person?
That is the only reason why I put it on here, to maybe discuss that. Do we have a point person? Have we considered a point person? Is that something that you want to give us some thought and then get back to us?
This is for accepting the payments.
Yeah.
We're changed, so in the past, the companies paid us. We went to someone and said, make this banner. We paid the people to make the banner, and then we charged that company a fee to hang the banner. We're taking the banner piece out of it. So now the companies go directly to the sign company to have theirs made, and then they pay us a fee to hang it on the fence. So we need a point person in the school to accept payment, to accept banners, and to then hang said banners. And they don't have to be the same person, but we need point people for those things.
Right.
I believe in the past, the hanging and taking down for the seasons has been the maintenance department, custodians.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then we just need someone to accept payment.
Is that something Judy could do?
I was going to say, I think you just have the superintendent's office have that process.
Great.
Andy's looking to chime in.
If I may,
I think-
as somebody whose company has a banner, it was in the central office. Cheryl was the one that I ended up having to pay and filled out all the paperwork for.
Perfect. Great.
Now, do we want to have someone that's going to pursue this project and solicit, go out there, send out letters, or however we want, or do we just want to just hang a sign on the side of the road and say,
So
come
my
to us?
understanding is that we do have a person whose, one of their job responsibilities is to send out the letters annually. And so she will continue to do that.
Okay.
Nice. So what, if anything, needs to be done with the document that Mr. Bateman made? Does that just need to be provided to your office? Does that?
Yeah, we'll just keep it on file.
And we probably should vote on it to accept it.
Yes, let's do that. Let's be done with this. I make a motion to approve the new banner policy as written in the document shared with the committee.
Second. Any discussion? We're good?
I have just a comment.
Okay.
So I know later we have a subcommittee discussion on cash handling and, Booster Club policy. So is there anything related between this vote that we're doing now and potentially that?
No, I mean, only in that, the practice would be that the cash would be, if it's cash, but I'm assuming it's going to be checks, because we don't handle anything electronically.
Well, we have a policy that, remember, never made it to the public library that was approved on by the school committee in 2014. So if we just want to affirm that
That
still...
would be the policy that
Okay.
we would follow, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then that's all I wanted to clarify.
Okay.
So that was the draft that Mr. Bateman sent to us via email, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And there's been no changes and no amendments, edits, other than superintendent is being
Superintendent is being
substituted
put into the
for...
person that's going to accept
Gotcha.
instead of the chairman
Or
of
sign
the
off
school
and
committee.
approve. That's-
Yeah.
okay.
Yes. And other than that, I'm fine. Okay. All in favor? Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.
Future meetings. I didn't think we had any planned until I read your notes and realized we talked about it at the last meeting for October 8th and October 22nd. So
October 8th and October 22nd.
we agreed to
Yes.
that at the last meeting, so that's sort
got
of
those.
but by the time I realized that, I couldn't pull it off the agenda, so
And we're back to 6:30 time?
yes, back to 6:30.
I also have November 5th and November 19th in my calendar. Is that, I probably just put them all in.
You probably put them all in. We can discuss November 5th and November 19th. That would be same with the warrants coming out this time.
Right.
And I don't think there's any, unless anybody has any concerns on those dates.
No, it's good because it falls before the holiday week.
Yes, it's the week
Perfect.
before, and then it's also the week before Veterans. So, so we're good. So we'll put November 5th and November 19th down as well.
Great.
Also, an old unfinished business. It's not on the agenda. I will briefly mention it. As far as the executive summary from the investigation, that is being redacted and then will be sent to the school committee members.
I'm sorry, what do you mean?
It's being redacted. Things are being crossed off on the investigation.
Got it.
And so that will be done very quickly, and you will have that document very quickly. That being said, comments and concerns of citizens.
Wait, hold on just one second. So it's going to be redacted and sent to us,
Correct.
and then
It's going to be sent to you.
that's it.
And that's it. At this time, that's it.
Okay.
Comments and concerns of citizens. No comments and concerns of citizens? Okay. Subcommittee discussion. Review of cash handling policy. One thing I learned tonight, I know Aaron had sent us something, and I know we had something from 2014, cash handling. What we have in there now is pretty much 2 sentences, 2 paragraphs, very short paragraphs. And I learned tonight that we have a cash handling procedure that was developed in 2014 when we had developed the cash handling. It's very intricate, I want to say. It's very detailed. So I'm not sure if we want to just reference in our cash in school buildings policy. Basically what our policy says is, file DM. Money collected by parent groups, etc., shall be handled with good and prudent business procedures. All monies collected shall be accounted for and processed to the proper location of deposit. Under no circumstances shall money be left overnight in schools except in safes provided for the safekeeping of valuables. Even in schools that have safes, every reasonable attempt must be made to avoid leaving money overnight in schools. And then I don't know if we want to keep that and just reference the fact that we have a very detailed procedure policy that, just glancing at it, pretty much covers everything and basically reinforces this in much more detail, or if we want to delve even deeper and put it out there as a policy when we have a procedure. I guess the procedure was developed after, or 2011, 2014?
I think 2014.
14, after we had, which is why I think it's the one you have, Aaron, that you sent us was like a whole page. And I think also there was a procedure that, I don't know if it was developed with this or after this.
Well, typically, in the past, procedures are always made distinct from policies. Policies are high level. Procedures could change, and procedures are usually developed by administration. So we kind of had that delineation. It's like, okay, here's the policy. Please make sure that your procedures, meet the spirit and intent of the policy. And then we never really pressed for it, but I know it was a pretty rigorous policy. And I know that we need to have that policy, published and make sure that there's compliance, because I know there's been some issues in the recent, couple of years regarding that. And I thought maybe because the policy never made it to the public library, that nobody was aware of it in administration. But it's good to hear that the procedure was in place, and then we just need to make sure that it's followed.
And then everybody knows about it.
Yeah, let's send it up.
So we just need to vote to have this policy submitted to our manual?
Well,
MASC?
this is what we have now, this one right here, which I just read. That's our present policy that's on the website. This came from 2014. I think we did that back in 2014. And then I think also on top of that was done the procedures, which are very detailed. And so do we want to just keep what we have presently? Maybe just make a reference to the fact that we have a detailed procedures, and not necessarily list them all out, because that could change, and depending on different needs that come up.
Like at
And
the end of the policy, just say, C.
please refer to
Yeah, refer to the procedure.
procedures,
I
procedure
think that's a good
policy.
idea.
And that way, we don't have something that, well, we can always alter it, but that way it's not 20 pages long and,
And redundant.
right. And, but we do need to make sure that everybody gets out there and knows that these are the procedures. I believe most people do. There's only certain ones that handle it, but it wouldn't help to have a refresher go out to everybody. So
Great.
that's something that's acceptable to everybody. We could do that, and just, I'll throw something on here and for the next meeting, just to reference the fact that we have a procedure, a detailed procedure policy, if that is acceptable.
It's great.
That sounds good.
It's good. I'm good.
Okay, then I'll do that, and then we can run it past us twice and vote on it, and that'll take care of that. Review of Booster Club policy. Wasn't quite sure what we were looking at. One thing I do want to ask, since you're here, when you were referring to a status of a document, is that the 501c3 status, or is 501c3? Is that the one you said you don't have?
Yeah, we're not a registered
Okay.
charitable organization. We looked into it multiple times, and the amount of paperwork that you had to do and the follow-up, it just, we didn't seem at that time that it was really necessary to do, and it's been run fine, and they're really, over the last 20 years, I don't believe I've had any questions as far as, where the money's coming to, and if,
Now, we have a policy filed, KBE, Relations with Parents/Booster Organizations. This may sound like a dumb question, but I'm going to ask it. Do you consider the boosters a parent organization, or is that considered more PTO would be a parent organization? I guess my question would be, how do you consider the boosters as far as?
I think, I guess it's a splitting hairs here. I mean, we're not related to a PTO. We're a individual organization of parents, and it's basically made up of parents that that have athletes coming through the system that want to help out and do it. So I mean, I think it would be more of a parent organization than a PTO. We don't really. We have no real association with the school, except that you allow us to come on property.
Right.
We use your athletes to make the money, and whatever profits we do, we just give back to you, and we're really not looking for anything. We're just looking to, help out the school system, the athletes, the teams, and
But to be a volunteer with your organization, you don't have to be a parent with a current athlete.
No,
You're just a
No,
volunteer
we have,
organization.
there's people that come do concession stands. D-Seater, she does the first basketball game of the year every year. She hasn't had anybody in the system for 20 years. Kathy Cloutier hasn't had anyone in 15, and they like the school. It was good to them,
Yeah.
and
No, that makes
Don,
sense.
There's a concession funds, is I'm pretty sure that follows the policy, right?
of what?
The
Policy?
collecting of money at the concessions.
Yeah, I mean, the money collected at the concession stand, I'm normally there. It was, I think there was 350 games in the last 13 years. I've probably been at about 330 games, and the cash box comes home with me, and depending on the night, it gets counted up. I have multiple little books of how much we made that night, and that's kind of where I got my averages from. How much the football games will do, really anywhere from $700 in Palmer, maybe $1,500. That's excluding the food cost. Whereas a basketball game, you get if the boys are on the road and the girls are in town and they're playing, some McCann or something like that, it's $50. Over the years of the games that we were talking about, the
What's
$77,000. Excuse me?
What they make,
Oh.
because it's not a lot.
Yeah, because it's not a lot.
Do you ever host, does Boosters ever host any events? Like where there's players or anything like that, any type of activity?
I don't know what hosting. I mean, we host the Palmer Ware banquet before the Palmer Ware game. Every year someone's in charge of it. I believe it was Kathleen Soltis when it's in Ware the last few times, and so we.
And is it like on school property, those things?
I believe it's at like Teresa's, and I don't know where they do in Palmer.
So that's hosted by Boosters?
Yeah, well, we pay for it, it's like, as far as hosting an event, we don't really, the hosting of the event is more of that we're taking care of the concession stands and doing that, but as far as having, St. Mary's, in the day of like a St. Mary's party that we used to go to, we don't do something like that, no. We kind of strictly athletically related.
But to be clear, he doesn't have to follow our cash handling policies.
No, he doesn't.
But as
Like
far as...
You have your own.
He
Yeah.
And that's what
has
you
his
follow.
own policies, they have their own policies.
Because the money
Those are
never
not-
touches our hands.
Those are none of our concern.
Well, that's why I want to make sure. Did we ever hear from the attorney?
The money never touches our hands.
It's
so
not
we
our
don't-
money.
we
No,
don't
it
have
doesn't,
to.
but it's collected on school property under
Doesn't
school
matter.
events.
It's almost like we're renting out the space and they're dealing with it.
Okay.
And we're not.
What they do with their money is none of our concern.
And how it comes back to us through donations, we always, good example would be the fence for the softball field. He tells us about that. We vote to accept it, and that's how it comes into our inventory, into our system, and that's how, without cash changing hands, that's how their donations come through to us.
Also, just as far as the boosters goes, we have a treasurer, Chris Desjardins, and Jen Polak have been treasurers for probably 12 to 15 years. The checks that we use are double signed, so I can't, maybe if there was a teller that you just pass it through, but legally we double sign every check. So if I need to buy concessions, like today I was at Costco and spent $321 for the football game, and then I collect them a little bit, and then I have to get a check from Jen, and she signs it, I sign it, and we kind of keep a running count of the money. So I mean, someone's watching. It's it's me, it's Jen, it's Chris, and. As far as voting for stuff, there's members that we send out. If the fence comes up, we put it out. If we have the money to it, at some point in time earlier this year, we were like $20-some thousand, and we bought the cooler and several other high priced tickets, and now we're down to $10,000, $11,000, and then that's where the calendars, we need to replenish through the calendars and concession stands and build it back up.
Yeah.
So.
No, I'm not in any way suggesting that there's impropriety or that we have to account for that. There's liability issues. I just wanted to know, I wanted to hear from the attorney what he thought about that policy, but if we're going to say that there's no issue there, then I'll defer to you guys. That's all I was bringing up, that's all.
Yeah.
So I'd say we're good.
Okay.
So as far as the athletic handbook, I'm going to take one last look at it. I'm going to add in our little blurb about the boosters and how we appreciate the relationship and their mission statement and the role they play. And then I'm going to send that along to Superintendent Wood along with Dr. Coleman and Adam to have everybody take a look at it. And then hopefully at the next meeting, we can vote to accept it and finally be done with this.
Sounds good.
Great.
Any other questions?
I'm going to set myself a reminder right now.
Nothing in
If I don't set a
communications,
reminder, it's
nothing
not
under business. That being said, I will make a motion at 8:21 to go into executive session. The move to enter executive session pursuant to MGL C 30A 21A to to conduct strategic sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel and/or to conduct contract negotiations with non-union personnel, IT director, director of curriculum, director of facilities, and high school assistant principal, not to return to open session. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aaron?
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye for myself. Mike?
Aye.
Mel?
Aye.